Virtual reality.
All right, Nurse Blake, Danny and I are so excited to chat with you, mainly because we've been consuming your content for a few years now. It's been so fun to see your rise to fame, the journey from being a nurse to a comedian and a content creator. When you look back on these past few years, like how does it feel for you? Are you a little shocked you have to pinch yourself?
Yeah, I never got into nursing to be a comedian. Like I never thought like I want to go to nursing to be on stage and tour. Like that was never a part of the plan. I never ever thought of comedy. It's just like a natural progression, I guess, just of my life and just professional journey in nursing where it kind of just led me here. But I'm super grateful for it and super thankful I get to do what I do because like making nurses laugh and smile is like something that they deserve. And also giving them a night to just drink and have fun and let loose. Like that's why I do what I do now. So instead of caring for patients in a hospital, I care for the tired, burnout nurses who need a night out.
I love that, but also I do love that you saying like it didn't feel like a natural like progression in terms of your career because for me, I like when I go to like get my checkups and everything like that, I always get like kind of like hospital anxiety or like white coat anxiety or whatever it is.
Yep.
And it's always like the nurse or like whoever is working there that is able to like break the tension and kind of make you feel at ease. And there is a level of humor to it. So when I was looking you up more, I was like, it does make so much sense that someone like gravitating towards a nursing career of like making people feel good would translate to comedy.
I say like while not a lot of nurses go into comedy, right? It's just like, we are some of the funniest people ever because we've seen the shit, we've smelled the shit, touched the shit, and we're going to talk about the shit.
Yeah.
So I think we're some of the funniest, most inappropriate people there are, really. And I can relate about going to the doctor and getting white coat syndrome because recently I was getting a checkup.
Mhm.
But the nurse practitioner, as I was getting my STI checkup, she recognized me.
Oh,
Okay. And how did that go?
She was, well, okay. So I was touring, I was traveling. I was like, oh, I just, need to get my routine checkup. So I go to this STI clinic and they call me back, and the nurse practitioner brings me back. And, I'm undressed from the waist down, and she's down there doing her business. And she was down there for a minute. And she looks up at me and was like, oh my God. And I was like, oh my God, what? She's like, you're Nurse Blake. And I was like, no, I'm not. And she's like, yeah, you are. I'm like, no, I'm not.
Oh my God, that is
no,
so
it's
that's the thing too. It's like you're connecting with all these nurses and people in the medical field now. How does it feel to sort of be a little icon within that community?
I like that I get to say what all the other nurses want to say, but they can't because of their HR departments.
Oh.
Nurses were on a very tight leash when we work at a hospital, and they don't let us really post on social media or share our thoughts and feelings. So whenever there's like a strike happening or, nurses are trying to advocate for things like safe staffing, I'm able to say the hospital, call them out, make fun of them on stage. So, while a lot of what I do is based on comedy, it's based on activism. Where other nurses, I'm allowed to share my mind. And really, it's what all the other nurses are thinking anyway.
wait, I'm interested on that because I have a lot of my friends are nurses in the medical field, and I know they have those moments where they have to go on strike or they need to like demand more fair wages and everything with their union and et cetera. I know it's really hard to kind of like, I'm sure, sum up and define how it's going right now, but how is kind of the industry? Because I know, I mean, we just hear like every single industry this year is kind of going through it.
Yeah.
How is like nursing? Is there anything that like in particular you want to shed light on that they're fighting for, or anything that they've like recently been able to like accomplish for themselves for a little more like job safety and security?
Yeah, I think that nurses have been going through it ever since COVID. Like even before COVID, we have been going through it. And then kind of all the issues were brought to light during COVID. And now that we're getting past it, right, and things are getting back to normal, meaning in the hospital systems and stuff, I feel like nurses realize that they have some power and have a voice. So we're seeing nurses strike in record historic numbers. I'm actually flying out to Chicago on Wednesday. I wasn't really working during that day. So, because nurses are striking. So I'm going to go on the picket line and strike with them for safe staffing. And really, when it comes to it, it's not always about wages, it's about staffing. Like some nurses are given 8 patients when they should only have 2 or 3. So it's like patients aren't safe in a lot of scenarios in a lot of hospitals around the country because staffing is so poor.
And
Wow.
that's the thing too, where that's like for the nurses help, but also you guys like y'all are doing it for the
For the
patient.
patient, right?
Yeah.
For the patient. Yeah, it's insane. And there's a lot of like accreditation bodies that come and they assess hospitals and safety, and they always get on nurses for like dumb shit for like having water at the nurses station instead of safe staffing or creating, safer environments for patients. They put so much stress on the nurses over dumb shit. So
It's
annoying.
amazing that you have this platform now to speak out about all these different issues, and I'm sure that the nursing community definitely appreciates that. At what point did it kind of click, like, hey, I could sort of leave this traditional nursing situation and become a content creator, a comedian, use my voice elsewhere?
Yeah, I would get invited to a lot of conferences and hospitals or nursing schools to speak at. So, they would get me to speak, but they'd say, like, hey, we're a hospital, so you got to watch your mouth. You got to say this, you can't say that. And I was like, that shit. I said, I'm going to do my own talks. So I remember in 2019, I rented out like 5 little theaters around the country. I just picked like random spots. And I sold tickets on Eventbrite, and it was my first little like show. And I got more and more comfortable, more and more vulnerable. So it went from just like an inspiring talk against the hospitals. I just wanted to say, shit. I don't even think I cursed the first tour. I was like, oh my God, can I even curse? Now I'm doing like 50, 100 shows around the world, which is so cool. So yeah, I still am in disbelief of kind of this is where my nursing journey has taken me.
Well, we are all happy that it's taken you this way. And like Evan said, you have a very big platform and you're not just raising awareness. I'm sure you're getting some fun followers that you might not know. And you are, a handsome man getting his STIs checked out and making sure you're
Negative, negative.
negative and good to go. Are there any boys out there you would want to slide in the DMs? Have you tried to slide? What's happening? Are we
I
slipping?
don't know anyone. Like people always ask, like, who's the most famous person in your phone? And I'm like, bitch, I live in Orlando, Florida. Like no one
Oh, Mickey.
wants, like no one wants to talk to me. I'm actually just got out of a really long-term relationship. I was together with my ex for 12 years, married for 6. And so I'm still in the process of kind of letting that relationship go and figuring out what my life is moving forward. But I'm really just focused on work, you know,
And
Okay.
touring,
if how much
advocacy.
you're comfortable to share with, because with
Yeah.
that, you obviously started that relationship not as a public figure,
Mm-hmm.
and now you're going through the separation of it as a public figure. How are you? How are you coming? Like that must be very hard to like mentally compartmentalize and also share and not share and respect your partner and everything or ex-partner.
Yeah, I do comedy. So if you talk to me, like
Period.
nothing's safe. Like I will talk about it during my show. So if you want the real tea, and my show is called Shock Advice because what I say is going to be shocking and like everything's on the table. Like my family's like, Blake, I swear to God, if you talk about me, and I'm like, well, I do talk about you. So get over it. No, I feel like a lot of, especially people who pop up as, successful on the internet, the relationships that they had before they were, kind of well known online don't really work out. The success rate isn't very high. And it did take me a while because I got with him when I was 19. And so all I've known, I'm 33 now, is like being with this guy. So I actually just got out of like a wellness retreat. I was in there for 30 days. I had no phone. I wasn't allowed to work. I just did counseling like 12 hours a day. And now I'm a lot more comfortable with myself and confident and just enjoying life a lot more. So I'm definitely focusing. I want to date me, right? I want to focus
Okay.
on myself right now.
Oh, that's good. Okay. Love that spirituality moment that you were able to get for yourself. Now that you are out of a relationship and your fame has only increased, is there a part of you that's like, once you're done dating yourself and you're ready to date other boys, is there a part of you that's excited to like date famous?
I don't I don't know. I don't know if I want to date famous, you guys. I don't know. I feel like I just want like
No, I
a bro-
mean you're famous. Like
Oh,
you're
me?
dating as a
Oh,
famous
I don't
person.
even think about it. I don't even think about it. I just want a broke boy.
Oh,
What?
what?
I think I want a
I
broke
need the
boy.
number of this clinic you went to for 30 days and you're getting a refund because if you left one on a broke boy,
Why
I
do you
think I
want a
want a
broke
broke boy.
boy?
I just want, I just want to have fun and enjoy my life. And yeah, I don't know. That's a great, I'm still discovering myself, right?
you could
So
have done
I
at the
don't even know.
Ritz-Carlton, but go on.
And
Okay.
I don't see myself as famous. Like I'm not. Like I just have a few followers and I do comedy.
when you are like, have you had those moments? Because like you said, like you've been doing this like before you fully left your job. Have you had moments where like your old bosses have gone to see you and everything like that?
Oh yeah. I've had like coworkers come to see me and they're like, "Oh my God, I know who you're making
I was
fun
gonna say,
of."
yeah.
Yeah.
I would love if you have an old patient. Like, have you ever had an old patient go like, oh,
Oh, that's me. That's me. That's me. Luckily not. I try not to. I really more folk. I do make fun of patients in like a more general, broad way. Because at the end of the day, I'm still a professional, licensed, registered nurse. So I just talk about my colleagues and nurses and other professionals in the healthcare field. And it's so funny because like one girl's like, "Oh my God," like I went to school with. She's like, "Were you talking about Sarah?" And I'm like, "No, bitch, it's talking about you. You're the question asker. Like you're asking a question right now. Like put your hand down." Yeah.
So I'm curious, Blake, what was your relationship with like medical dramas growing up? Like, are you a Grey's Anatomy ER kind of guy, or like, what's the situation there?
I actually just auditioned for a role in Grey's Anatomy. I didn't get it. 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 But it was really cool to audition. But when I got the call, I'm like, is Grey's Anatomy still filming? Like, what? They're season 68. Like, what do you mean? Like,
I,
Meredith Grey gonna be in old people home?
I was gonna say you maybe lucked out because if you walked on set, I don't think you might be stuck there. Like like she's been trying to leave Seattle since like Obama was president. Like
I know.
Ellen Pompeo is locked and key. So I think you lucked out. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've always, my dad is in healthcare, so he was a respiratory therapist who worked night shift. So when I'd get up in the morning, eat cereal, he'd come home from work and just trauma dump all his healthcare stories. So I've always been interested in healthcare. And I haven't honestly considered anything else. So nursing was like always my path. But yeah, I would watch all the like sex stories in the ER. And while I didn't really watch Grey's Anatomy growing up, I watched all like the real ER stories when they used to film like patients and all that. They used to be on TLC,
Yeah.
right? So I used to all watch all those OG TV shows.
Oh yeah, that's so
Yeah.
the reality side was more your thing. Dude, actually, like I was just telling Danny about this. I remember it was like 10 plus years ago. It never came out, but there was a little teaser. MTV was working on some sort of like sexy reality show about nurses. I don't know if you ever knew about this.
Oh, yes, I know. And it lasted just a few episodes.
Yeah, it was very short-lived, but what did you watch it? Did you know anyone on it? Would you ever do something like that?
I would absolutely not. Like a lot of people think I filmed some of my videos in the hospital. I have never ever filmed inside of a hospital ever. So the fact that they were following these nurses like in their real life and then at work, it just led for a lot of drama and patients just thinking all nurses are crazy. I mean, which we are, but we don't necessarily want to put that out on like national television. So yeah, so a lot of nurses were like, take this show down. Don't tell them we drink so much. Like, don't let the patients know our secrets. So yeah, it was very short-lived.
Oh, that's interesting. Wait, was it called Scrubbing In?
You know what? It was probably something like that. And that's honestly like
Oh
I
wow! Yeah, the nurses org condemned the show.
I
Uh,
know. They did not like that at all.
wait, so if you want to do like a nurse type reality show because you're like, let's have the separation of that, would you want? Because you said you're auditioning for Grey's
I
Anatomy.
did.
I'm
I didn't
assuming
get it.
that's why you can do. That's why you have like any free time. God bless. You're not in
Yeah.
Seattle. Is TV something you want to dive into? And if so, is scripted the hope, or would you like be interested in like a docuseries or a reality like Foot in the Dance?
I would love scripted. I think scripted is so fun. I think there's a rumor that like Scrubs is coming back. And I think like a comedy kind of like The Office or Schitt's Creek, but for nurses would just be amazing. So if anyone wants to put that together with me, I'm so down.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say, open up, get Final Draft. You
I
have,
know, right?
yeah.
I think that would be really fun. So I'm definitely, yeah, I think one of the goals is to do something in television. I just tour a lot. Like I'm gone September through December this year, and next year I'm touring a lot. So it's really hard to fit it in my schedule.
Is that, do you love, because obviously like you're touring at a level you haven't done before, and I feel it's like touring in theory versus in practice must be so different. How it like, are you like kind of like, what city I'm in? I'm so tired, I miss my bed, or are you like, I want to keep on going?
I love it until it's over. And then I'm like, oh, here we go. I'm gonna go manic. So I dye my hair, I like pierce my nipples, like I'll get some new tattoos. And because you go from like this high of doing like 6 shows a night for like 5.5 months, which I did last year, I did like 100 and something shows. And you go from this crazy busy show to like nothing and quiet, and it's so weird and eerie. And you definitely want to relax. And whenever I'm off, I love to be with my family. But it does take a few, I've always like looked at celebrities and people that tour like, oh, they've got the easiest job in the world. Like it must be just so easy, like do all these. It's a lot of fucking work. Like some days, I'm like, damn, I just wish I was working in a hospital again, And then I
That's
think about
so
it
it's
too much and I'm
touring's
like,
hard.
nah.
In the hospital's easier.
Touring, so I love it. It's so much fun. The nurses are wild. They come in like party buses in groups of like 30, and they wear t-shirts and they drink, and all ages. Like there'll be like a 19-year-old nursing student next to 84-year-old retired nurse just shooting the shit. And to me, that's what's so special about my audience is it's so diverse and so many different aspects that makes I think really, really cool and interactive. Like you feel the love in the community. You would think everyone knows each other like a family reunion.
Oh, that is so cool. And then what is it like connecting with your audience at something like NurseCon, which I didn't even know existed? Like Danny and I are very involved in BravoCon. We had no idea that NurseCon was a thing.
Yeah, so I launched NurseCon because nursing conferences, they're so boring, they're so stale. I'm like, bitch, I want to put on the best nursing conference because nurses deserve it. So every year I get a whole cruise ship, 4,000 nurses. We do theme nights and we bring on drag queens from RuPaul's Drag Race. We do education, meetups. It's like a whole experience. So it is the ultimate nursing conference. Nurses from all over the world attend. And so, yeah, if you're a nurse and want to come to the best conference and get it reimbursed by your hospital, you could come to NurseCon at Sea.
Oh, that's the hack.
Yeah. Free vacation with me. Yeah,
That's
reimbursed.
amazing. Now it's really honestly incredible just like thinking about your trajectory. Like I would imagine if I was your parent, I would be so proud of you. How do your
Thanks.
parents feel about the journey you've been on, especially, also knowing the part of your background about conversion therapy and that whole situation? Like I'm sure this has been a lot, and maybe comedy is even like some sort of like trauma response to all of that.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm no contact with my parents.
Okay.
And not just me, my very straight, cisgender, masculine country brother also has no contact with our parents. They put me through gay conversion therapy when I was younger, from 15 to 18, and it clearly didn't work.
Yeah.
I always say I actually learned some of my best tricks there.
Oh,
You know,
Uh,
it's like, sure, I'll go to a camp with like thousands of gay guys.
honestly.
Uh, so unfortunately, I don't speak with my parents anymore, but I do have a very close-knit system. I'm very close with my grandmother, Nan, who's my biggest supporter, my brother, his wife, and a few of my lesbian cousins.
Oh,
okay.
I love
That's all you
I
need.
love how much the rainbows through the
It,
DNA though. That's amazing.
I'm telling you,
That seems like the most comforting group, honestly.
Well,
it's honestly the best.
how does grandma feel about it all?
She loves it. She goes on tour with me. She travels with me.
Oh,
She's like she's gonna be 79 soon, but she's got more energy than I do. So I'll bring her on tour and we'll be at this theater and she'll get lost. She'll just be downstairs talking to the hot theater guys, just like shooting the shit. And we're like, "Where's Nan? Someone find Nan." She always gets lost. It's so funny.
oh, that is wonderful. I
I
love
love
that. I love
her.
that you're
I
able to
love
make those
her.
memories with her too.
Yeah. No, it's great. I have a really good time. I love what I do.
Yeah, well, it's amazing that you've sort of turned the pain from that experience into purpose, because you also advocate to end the gay blood ban. And like tell us about your work there, because that's really important. And I can't believe we're still dealing with that.
It's a bullshit. So back when I was in nursing school, one of my really good friends, Emmy, she has sickle cell anemia. So she would always be hospitalized like throughout our nursing school program, getting blood transfusions. So I'm like, girl, you inspired me. I'm gonna go out and donate blood. And they were like, no, you're not. And I'm like, why? They're like, you're a man who has sex with men. And at that time, I'm like, yes, I am. This is in like 2013. They're like, well, you're banned for life. Like, you can't ever donate blood. And I'm like, this is bullshit. So I did some research and I realized that there was like not an organization trying to get it ended. So I'm like, shit, I'll get the FDA to end the ban. I don't know. I was like 22-year-old like nursing student from Florida. And the FDA listened. They actually ended the lifetime ban in 2015. However, they did put like a year deferral in place, meaning you would have to stay abstinent for a year. And it's like, I'm not doing that. And then they change it to 90 days and then 30 days. And now they have lifted the ban. So There are a few exclusions, but it was definitely a 10-year process. But that's when I realized that advocacy is important, that I didn't need so many like degrees or letters behind my name to get the FDA to hear me.
Mhm.
And I just learned a lot from that project. So it was really cool to be a part of that, history making moment when it comes to blood donations.
It's amazing. And I also feel it's a testament to kind of like the through life of every step of your career where you've like wanted something and you've done it yourself. And now look at you. So that's why I'm very excited to see what you're going to be doing. You're going to be on Grey. I don't know. I think you're going to be taking over Meredith Grey. Me,
You know what? I'm open to it.
yeah, me and Evan are very excited to see what you are going to be accomplishing next and next because you've already done so much, but it's only the beginning.
Thank you so much. I'm having a really good time.
Yeah.
Oh.
What would you say is next for you in the sort of like kind of immediate future?
Bitch, I'm taking a nap.
Yeah.
After this, I'm laying on this couch and I'm going to bed.
Yes.
That's what's next.
Well
I
deserved.
mean,
Well, enjoy that. I wish
I was
I
going to say, we're not going to keep you waiting from now that we know it's an app. We're
It's
gonna let you go right
serious.
now because you
It's
need to back
serious.
that. Yes. Oh my God.
Thank you, boys. You guys
All
are
right,
awesome.
Blake.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you so
Appreciate
much and
you.
congrats.